Good morning. I can see some seats are vacant, but I'm sure others would join in. So we had a very fiery session just before the break, and this is a fireside chat that we are going to have. And in a couple of days, we are going to have our Holi celebration. And you all know Holi is where we burn the fire, and it's the message of good over the evil. So the way we thought we'll structure this session is an extension of a Holi. Basically, how do we learn from each other on some incredible journeys that we have had? And earlier, Indrani ma'am mentioned about SSers getting an opportunity to go and do an assessment of a company. So I was fortunate enough to be at two amazing places and be there with those companies and experience the organizations. So SSers get this opportunity, but what we attempted to do is get the organizations, get the culture over here into this room, and maybe they can speak a little bit more about that particular aspect. Um, like I said, though this is a fireside chat, we'll try to make it as interactive, as engaging with each one of you over here. So before I kind of introduce, let me just tell you, what if I tell you there's an organization where attrition is almost zero and people don't retire? Isn't it amazing? So that's what we have, Shija. I'd request our colleagues on the console to please play the first video.
Dr. Palin Kundongbam's forward-thinking approach has driven Caesar hospitals to embrace innovation and technological advancement in healthcare and change the landscape of the region. Dr. Palin is now an accomplished plastic and smile trained partner surgeon and also set a Guinness World Record for the successful excision of the largest neck tumor in the world, that is 40% of the total body weight. He reimplanted 7 totally amputated hands and also received several accolades as a medipreneur. From a mono-practice Caesar clinic in the name of his mother, he and his team transformed it during the turbulent time in Manipur to a super specialty hospital and then to the first homegrown private medical college in northeastern India in a span of 36 years. Caesar has now become the first NABH accredited medical college hospital in Northeast India for safety culture. Caesar is instrumental for attracting more medical tourists and inclusive growth of the region. More than 5,000 Myanmar patients seen in the recent past. He frequently says, "I had all the inconveniences required for success." More than 1,600 caregivers are now working towards making the region as one of the best healthcare and education tourism destinations in the world. Future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams.
So that's Dr. Palin, and he's got a really very inspiring story of how he started this journey. He and his wife moved house to house to provide medical health care to the people over there. And when we talk of employees, broadly an employee could be an employee healthcare person to a doctor, to a super specialist doctor. And we all talk about employee engagement, what drives engagement for various sets of employees. So I know Dr. Palin works very closely with each one of them, and that's probably one of the reasons that it is considered to be more as a family. And like I said, almost zero attrition, and people don't retire. So we'll get to that. So that is one side of the spectrum, very family-oriented, very warm, very cozy kind of a workplace, but yet growing very significantly coming from Northeast in Manipur. To the other side of the spectrum, imagine we have similarly very high IQ people, and they would certainly be partners or consultants, and the way we need to work with them. And if I tell you that here's an organization which has a policy of unlimited leaves, isn't it strange? Unlimited leaves and people don't have goal sheets over here. And that's grand thought in Bharat for you. Again, I was fortunate to be part of a team where we went, interacted with a whole lot of colleagues at Grand Thornton Bharat. So can we have the video on Grand Thornton Bharat, please? So guys, that's Grand Thornton Bharat for you, and it resonates very well with the Bharat story. And happy to and delighted to have Satya over here, the Chief Business Officer at Grand Thornton Bharat. Here again, the kind of amazing experiences that we had, be it just not the partners, but the entire conversations around gig, around moonlighting, or the aspects of culture was just significant. Like I said, the theme for this fireside session is on being first to foremost. And like I said, this is consider this more of a holy where we are all surrounding this. Just imagine this holy which is being burnt, and all of us are around here. And we would certainly want each one of you to be inclusive, participate in this particular thing. So going with the theme of being first, we would want to trigger some ideas, thoughts from each one of you as we get into discussion. So there's a Mentimeter which will be coming up over here. So if you can just open your smartphones, you have to just respond in a single word. So can we have the Mentimeter over here? Okay. So use this code 1302146 on www.menti.com and respond to this question over here. We'll just take 30 seconds and see what comes in over here. So question is, now that we know what is required to being first, what is the key attribute you require to be foremost? Actually, this was supposed to come later on, but doesn't matter. Yeah, go on. Please keep presenting. Just one word. Can we have the word cloud, please? Yeah. Agility, passion, skill, courage, adaptability. Wow, I can't read it now, but wonderful. Passion is still at the center. Skill, creativity, agile, mature, wonderful. So we got almost 35, 36 people have shared their ideas, but I'm sure there are more people over here. So let's give around 20 seconds more. Yeah, so great. Wonderful. So let's give a round of applause for each one of you over here who have participated. Thank you so much. Let's start with Dr. Palin. The journey which Shija has undertaken has been really inspiring, and there have been lots of hardships and challenges. So, can you share what went through you, but you continued on that particular journey?
Thank you. Thank you, CII. Good morning to all, and especially Deshpande, Deshpande, for involving us in such a very, very important, and for me, it is the first time. And I have a background of a political family, but because of the issues in the internal issue of the politics in Manipur, we had to suffer a long time, and we have to come up resilient to these days. The story is when after my MS Gen surgery and during my MBBS course in Manipur and MCH, MS from PGI Chandigarh, those days in the 1970s and 80s, many patients used to go to Dibrugarh. Dibrugarh was the mecca of healthcare in northern India, because Dibrugarh had the first medical college from British time in northern India. Patients with a gallbladder stone, kidney stone, even fracture with a splint, they used to go. And also the piles injection. Piles is the bleeding from the anus, and very, very discomfort. and maybe 1 in 5 may be suffering. It may be painful, it may not be painful. It is a bunch of blood vessel. For that, one injection is given to stop the bleeding. Even for that, people used to go. And after my MS, we thought that it can be easily treated, and we were trained. So we have set up a small clinic attached to someone's pharmacy with my wife, Dr. Boni. She has also come today. And we have brought advanced technology for piles, non-operative piles treatment, like cryosurgery, then IRC, then stapling, then DG Hall, which are not available in the Eastern India. Why? Because why they are going to bank at this Dibrugarh, we don't trust you. Why they are going? You don't have the infrastructure. So that has become a subconscious mind. We should be trusted. That's why we have advanced in the piles treatment, non-operative piles treatment. So ultimately, instead of Dr. Palin, I was called Dr. Piles those days. I was not unhappy, but we have advanced, and we could manage to stop so many patients going outside the state. Subsequently, we have shifted to another building, rented again, and there we have installed so many equipment which were not available, like minimal access surgery, ERCP, total stone management, and subsequently in the current location, cardiac science, then heart, renal science, then the neuroscience, plastic surgery, so many other advanced treatment which were not available in the state, even in the region. So ultimately, during this journey, we had, just like any other enterprises, the stage of ridicule, stage of opposition, and the stage of acceptance. So from a mono-practice to a super specialty hospital, 350-bedded hospital, then the first homegrown private medical college in the northern India. And that is how we have journeyed this. Another thing I would like to mention is Mission Myanmar. She's a Mission Myanmar. It has given a lot of energy because Myanmar, currently it is very, very disturbed. But those days during the democracy time, we were invited for Smile Train. That is cleft lip and palate. I am the Smile Train, this partner surgeon also. The team went there. We have thrice rather for cleft lip and palate, cataract surgery, and keyhole surgery. We have performed 339 operations free of cost, totally free of cost. And we have, this was happening in the Mongya General Hospital, the capital of Sagaing, and another in Calais. So this has given a lot of this change in the mindset, because they were going to Bangkok and Singapore. They come to know that after this the mission, there is a place called Caesar Hospital where they could undergo the treatment at much cheaper. And we have treated more than 5,000 Myanmar patients, including kidney transplant, cardiac surgery, neuroscience, joint replacement, and so many stone management. And one patient, particular patient I would like to mention, they went to Bangkok. The fee for kidney transplant was 60 lakhs in Indian currency, and we have done with 6 lakhs. This has become a national news there, so they are still coming. And also from this journey, we have learned that we had a lot of inconveniences, being initially a mono-practice in a pharmacy, then a rented building. There was no structure for the hospital. We had all the inconveniences for transporting the patient. We could not keep the incinerator, which is mandatory by the Supreme Court. So we thought that we have to shift to a better place, our own land, our own architect. So we have shifted to the current location. So we had all the inconveniences required for success. So if it is the situation, we still have a lot of inconveniences. There is no parking space, though we have 12 acres of land. We are trying to expand, and also this is a good problem. Having no parking is a good problem because we have to create a multi-story parking so that we can accommodate. So, and also we are constructing the infrastructure for another 350-bedded hospital so that we can accommodate the students. So this is the journey of Caesar Hospital. As you know, Manipur is turbulent for the last 3 decades or so, more than 3 decades. And currently it is reeling through a very, very serious social and socio-political unrest. Before also because of the so many other issues. So it is the growth journey of Caesar Hospital through the turbulent environment and from passion to a system. Now we have a quality system like NABAs and NAPL, which is very, very important for safety culture to the provider as well as to the patient, also to the customer. This is what I would like to give for the first question. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Palin. So when we did this word cloud, there was this passion which came out very clearly. What is coming to my mind is the purpose. Dr. Palin is also a plastic surgeon, and he had a choice to kind of continue as a plastic surgeon and probably be the world's best, which he still is, but he decided to stay back, be the son of the soil, and do what was required for the community to be done. So that's an amazing story, Dr. Palin. Thank you. We'll come back to you on that. So Satya, very vibrant video that we saw, and that gels well with the entire story of Vibrant Bharat. And when we interacted first, being any professional consulting companies, it is cutthroat competition, and that is where we started off. So if you can share how Grand Thornton Bharat is aligning and what was the trigger point for Grand Thornton Bharat and the amazing work that is being done, which probably the rest of the India country is not aware of. Over to you, Satya.
Thanks, Deepak. I think when the video started playing, I was thinking what must be happening in the room on the other side. They must be thinking, oh, we have woken up to take up the challenge. But I think such has been our story. So Jay Kumar ji covered a lot in the depth and breadth of everything that HR is supposed to do. So I'll try to bring in some of our experiences as the firm. We now know what we're supposed to do. So sort of we all know that we all need food and water to survive, right? But what is foremost is that we need to breathe. Sometimes we forget. And so keeping that in mind, I was thinking, what does that mean in terms of organizations? We're all doing top line, bottom line, taking care of people, and everything is happening. But what is foremost? And our realization was the foremost is the employee itself, right? And if you take care of your people, then they take care of your clients is our philosophy. So what we did is, about 2017 or 18, is when we did our employee survey to say, okay, how are people feeling about the firm? And there were 2 things that we got to know. One is that everyone felt that we were a great organization, good organization, sorry. And then the second thing was the employee net promoter score. I mean, we all find out, what is the score. And so to our surprise, the outcome of that survey was that our ENPS was -4%. Okay, -4%. We were all shocked. But such is the world of professional services, organization, consulting firm. People are working really hard day in and day out. And somewhere in the grind of it, you think, or you feel that you leave behind those employees somewhere. Right? So that was our realization point, Deepak, so to say. And what we did as an organization is that we created a strategy, which is, people care strategy, led by people at the center, and then driven by what we call is our care values. And care, quite literally, the verb side of care, although it's an acronym. We say, let's care for our people, and then, things will happen. So when that journey started, the bunch of leaders at that point of time, they went through what is called, transformational journey, experience, and training, so to say. And as part of that, we understood what is most important, aspects of behavior, leadership, demonstration, role model behavior, things like that. We created some of these culture tenets at the firm. And we said that in order to be the exceptional firm that we want to be, each and every individual needs to demonstrate this. And then all of that became the culture tenets, which is on every wall of every office wherever we operate. But it's not just something fancy on the wall. We started, tracing and tracking these behaviors to say, okay, are people demonstrating it in real time or not? And as simple as saying, okay, be here now is one of the tenets. So if you're all here, are we on our mobile phones or are we here intently listening to what's being shared, right? And then also giving people that safe space to say, oh, you're not here with your mind and body and soul. Feel free to be absent from here. We'll send you the video recording, right? So that's one of the culture tenets. But as we wanted to be, and we still, as in by 2030, as an organization, we want to be the most preferred professional services organization in the country, and hopefully in the world if we can. But we are the only Indian firm, if you look at the long list of the names that we have in the world, which is purely India-driven. And it may just sound like it's a coincidence that, somehow shaping Vibrant Bharat is our vision, which meets and matches with the Prime Minister's vision too. But that's because, we take pride in being who we are and how we are challenging the status quo in this professional services arena. So as we started this journey, a couple of things that were really important. So first was to accept, right? So the first A is accept where we were. The second thing was to assess, saying, okay, it's -4. How good or bad is it as compared to the rest of the organizations in a similar way? And then third was to also agree to adapt and change ourselves. That's where our strategy changed from, just purely being client first to being people first. There are now 4 behaviors. So now the whole organization is aligned towards 4 behaviors, core behaviors, and call it a 360-degree feedback or whatever feedback. But everyone in the organization is expected to demonstrate these 4 core behaviors. First being the coaching culture. So are we leading our people, inspiring them in day-to-day conversation while working with the clients, or are we being bosses who are giving instructions, right? So being a coach versus a boss became first of our core behavior. The second thing was, are we listening to understand what people are telling us? And this is such an important aspect for us, not just in the the HR world, but whoever is serving any customer in any shape and form. Say, are we listening to what they really are saying and wanting, or we are just there to talk to them and sell what we have to offer? So this is the second behavior. The third was, sharing. So are we sharing internally with everyone, or are we, focused in, hoarding information? What's in it for me? So that's sharing. And the last but not the least is all about self-accountability, which means, are we solution focused, or are we just finding reasons to blame somebody for something if it doesn't work, right? So now these 4 core behaviors is what is driving, our whole culture transformation journey. And the most important aspect of it was that all of those leaders who got trained in the first place, we decided that we will lead by being role models, and these leaders will train everybody, each and every individual in the firm through this culture transformation journey. And when we started doing that, rather than calling people from outside to keep doing for the rest of the 10,000 people, every individual in the organization started living and breathing and relating to that, to say, oh, my coach is doing this thing, I believe in it, and I can do it. And the outcome of this journey, since 2017 has been -4 to 74% positive in the ENPS. And that wouldn't have happened if we didn't believe in this, vision of the firm. The purpose that we were talking about is to say that, okay, how am I shaping Vibrant Bharat, right? And we go and talk to everybody asking this question, to every consultant, an assistant, a partner, and a manager, what are you doing? Right? And as they realize that, that L&T video, my father builds the bridge, right? And so, we all engaged in this mode to say that each and every one of us is doing, no matter how little or a big thing that is, it is adding value to the country, right? If we are the India's audit and advisory firm, we are doing those audits, so to say, to keep, bigger firms honest in how they're running their business. So that's important, and that has been our journey. And, we are very much focused on being that firm by 2030, following all of that.
Thanks, Satya. And let me admit, very happily, that one of the key takeaways for me has been being here now. Every assessment, there are a whole lot of takeaways which are there. So I was wondering, this is not part of the script, but I was just wondering if we can just do a being here now and open up the forum for any questions. It will also give a quick check. What we'll do is we'll take a couple of questions as of now and practice this cultural tenet of being here now, and would request anybody who's have a quick question or an observation or a comment to be made, you can please raise your hand, ask this question, comment to either of the panel members, and then we can move it from there. So are we being here now? Any questions? Okay, never mind. So we'll come back. Typically, as HR leaders, we face a whole lot of challenges from a HR strategy perspective. Maximum, we have the numbers saying that these are the numbers that we'll be having. But Shija, in a way, has worked its strategy brilliantly. So when they were building their hospitals, their buildings, they also created the academic institution which Dr. Palin spoke about. So here you have caregivers, doctors, specialist doctors who would be trained. So right now they are already building on the future talent who would be trained, who will be coming in, and then they'll be practitioners over there. Sir, I wanted to understand some views around the entire journey of how do you look at the strategy, not only from an HR people, and the key learnings that you had when you thought of building a medical college which would funnel in all the doctors for all your needs, your expansions and growth plans.
Thank you. We have 1,600 caregivers, including 200 doctors, working on various fields. In the journey, I have realized with the conviction that the leaders cannot lead beyond themselves. The leaders cannot lead beyond themselves. So consciousness creates reality. So the leader should groom himself or themselves so that he is conscious about everything. And once he is groomed, then we can go for the caregivers. Initially, we had a lot of complaint about taking care of the patients by our caregivers. Why? Because human mind as such, there are about 30 to 40,000 thoughts coming every day. And now it is more with the social media. And they have got different domestic issues also. When they come, when they burden themselves with all these ideas, with all these tussles, they cannot deliver the service to the customer, the patient. So we have realized this from the feedbacks, because growth means feedback, feedback, feedback. So we have initiated some sort of mental program, that is a meditation program. Initially, we have involved Brahma Kumari for 1 week, but subsequently, we have studied our team, we have board of directors, we have groomed ourselves for the spiritual pursuit. So we are meeting in batches, 60, 70 of them regularly. And we try to change the mindset. We try to change the belief system because we are conditioned from childhood, from the family, from the schools, from the societies, from the in-laws, the environment. By the time they reach 30, 40, we are thinking the same thought every day, 99%. And they cannot change. Grooming means change. So we need to change by entering into our subconscious mind. This is possible through meditation only. Meditation to me is the reduction of thoughts or the addiction of the thoughts. We have so many thoughts. We have a traffic jam. We don't know what we are thinking, how we are feeling. That's why it is being manifested. So we will go inside. There are various techniques, of course, everybody knows. When the number is less, we can choose. And when we do it regularly, we can choose, and when we are conscious of good thoughts, so it will become automatically subconscious mind. So subconscious mind is so powerful that it acts in fraction of seconds, they will respond. So by developing the subconscious mind through conscious mind, now we are getting a very good response from the customer because this is the index. Our caregivers are very good now because they have changed their mindset, they have changed their consciousness. So this is one area we have faced in the journey. And another thing is the leader. The organization will be directed with a vision. We have to create the vision. The leader should create the vision. And now and then we are changing also because the target changes. The vision also changes time to time. So when we started, it was the different issues for getting equipment. Now our organization now looking for global recognition. So by 2029, we should be recognized globally for our exceptional patient experience, academic excellence, and adaptation to the standard healthcare services. We have to adapt. Adaptation is very important. Adaptation is intelligence, like we have adapted during the corona. Our hospital is a multi-specialty hospital, corona strike. If we admit one corona patient, nobody will come. So we have converted our hospital into COVID hospital. We have treated the largest number of COVID patients, and we had the highest number of ICU. We could not accommodate. So this, again, Chinese proverb, in the midst of chaos, there is an opportunity. That has given revenue also. And subsequently, Niti Aayog has advised to relax the norm for setting of medical colleges. So we comply all the guidelines. So we had the opportunity to start a medical college, and we call it synchronicity. At the same time, we had so many faculty, because structure doesn't help. Only having this structure is not enough for the medical college. We have to have the faculty members. Luckily, we had faculty members retired from other hospitals, particularly from Manipur, my contemporary. All of them joined us. They didn't like to go outside also. They were invited by so many private hospitals. All of them joined us. We had a complete faculty member. We had this hospital at least, and we could start with a backseat hostel and other things. So simultaneously, good things are happening. So this was another synchronicity. So we have vision creation. Another thing is societal acceptance. See, we feel very unhappy when the society doesn't accept our organization. So for that, we have to have some corporate social responsibility. We have one NGO that is, she's a foundation where we have this free treatment of cleft lip and palate, eye care, nursing college, paramedical institute, blood bank, and oxygen plant. Oxygen plant was a blessing during the COVID time. We have our own. And another thing is a greatest issue for the entire country, for the corporate hospitals, the pricing and quality. When we try to maintain the quality, the price goes up, the cost. But people expect the high quality treatment at a very, very minimum cost. This is another change. This, we feel that this establishment of a private medical college for the first time in Northern India, this is going to be a master stroke, because with the universal health care, it's going to be launched in India, and also so many CMHC and Ayushman Bharat, these are low cost. So with the volume, we can manage low cost and without spending much from the out of pocket. We will be able to treat the patient at a minimum price, or rather free of cost. This is another master stroke. And adaptation, of course, we have already mentioned. So this is what I would like to say. We have learned from the journey, and this is being practiced. And we have to learn a lot and adapt ourselves to the new dimension like digitization. Now we are compelled to digitize our organization. We have to connect with this NMC, National Medical Commission, as well as Ayushman Bharat. They will see what is going on at the hospital, attendance, and all those things. This is mandatory nowadays. So we have to adapt to the new these changes. Change is constant, as already mentioned. This is what we have learned, and we will continue to learn. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Palin. I think one aspect, many insights, one aspect was around the entire dimension of spirituality and how it's very important to get back. In fact, our own experience was we were having a focus group discussion with a super specialty surgeon, and he was busy with an operation apparently for almost 24, 25 hours. He got delayed, but despite that, that person came in, interacted, spent some time with us without any fatigue or without any lack of energy and aspect. So thanks for sharing that. Satya, moving on to you, very keen to understand the entire aspect of unlimited leaves, GT league, the wings. If you can share some ideas, thoughts on that particular aspect.
Sure. So I think in the world of brevity, where Chat GPT will give you better answers than maybe I will, but the value that we all add as people are mostly based on our experiences. So I'm just going to talk about what my organization and we are doing towards some of these. So as part of the assessment, like the Great Place to Work. So what do you need to do to be a great place to work? So we also ran some of that, a year ago or so for ourselves. And what we figured is we are hardworking people, but we also need to make sure we have, fun at work. We just don't want to be a place which is a great place to work, but also fun, to work at. And so we started, this initiative, which is called Fun at Work. And we said, okay, so what does that really mean? What should we be doing to have fun at work? So we said there are a lot of things, and people and culture, as we call our HR team here, they play a very critical role in that, making sure every person in the organization is engaged. So we said, okay, sure. So let's have, what is called a purple league. So purple is our color in that brand color. So we started this purple league. Most organizations do that, right? Everybody goes and plays cricket, football and whatnot. So what are we going to do different in Purple League? So what we did, and this year specifically, is that we combined it with the DEI quotient that people talk about a lot. So how do you bring DEI in cricket, you would ask, right? So we said, okay, you don't generally see, women and men playing cricket together. I mean, if there are, firms which are doing great, we're not the first one, I would say. But what we felt is that the cricket pitch itself was a great place to start when we talk about equity. So we created our cricket team, which had half of women and half of men. And when the women players were bowling, they had a choice. They could do a full length bowling, or we shortened the pitch by 5 feet. So to us, it was okay, that's the beginning of equity. So, and now what we have achieved is everyone came back more or less to give us this feedback that, wow, they never thought that we could do that. Right? So that's start of Purple League, as you asked. It is more about equity and inclusion in whatever we do. Talking about unlimited leaves and all, I think that's got some history, which I would love to share very briefly again. Most of the organizations are worried about saying, okay, how many days the employee came, how many days the employee took as a leave, is he or she cheating, or is he casually really sick, or are they shopping at the mall while they are saying they are sick, and things like that. So, GT as an organization, we said, okay, people talk about trust and transparency, so let's be fully transparent and trust the employee blindly. I mean, on IT side of it, I have zero trust. That's what we operate in. But on the people side, yeah, let's take that full trust. And we announced unlimited leaves. And this is like the third year or fourth year now, third year for sure. The first year, as we expected, people felt like, wow, super, nobody's asking, I'll take whatever leaves I need, right? So we see that delta number of days shooting up in the first year. The second year, they said, nobody cares how many days I took, so I will take whatever I need, right? Second year, it came down, right? So this is an example of trust. And we told people, look, we are not going to question, why you are there, why you are not there, what you want to do, but stay aligned with your super coaches, as we call their supervisors. So that was unlimited leaves, the start of it, and that was the first in the industry, so to say. The other one is, while some of our previous speakers mentioned about how the IT world is concerned about, let's call people back because they're unproductive, they're probably moonlighting or whatever they may be. But if I don't trust my employees, then I'm not holding true to that thought itself. So we are not announcing, at least as of now, that okay, come back to office, everybody needs to be in office. We are using what is called an ultra-flex principle, Deepak. And true to that, it's like ultra-flex in which way? So it's about, if you are in Goa, you don't need to wear suit and tie. So suit up where you need to, dress casually where you need to. You are the best judge. If you're going in front of the client, you don't want to appear shabby. We don't need to tell you that, right? So that's ultra-flex. All of our employees have this choice, mostly I would say, except for a few where clients demand you to be in person there. But mostly they have this, what is called work from anywhere. So, like somebody was saying, I think Jay was saying or someone else, that they call the IT team who was sitting in Ranchi and saying, what do I do? So as long as those people are doing the work and, their coaches know what they're delivering, clients are happy, why do I really need to work? So we call it like, we don't want to bring people back to office because then we'll be losing the gains of the pandemic. We took that positive shot at pandemic as an organization saying, okay, it allowed us to let people do wherever they wanted to work from. It had another important aspect, and I do want to talk about this, as an organization for more broadly for everyone, maybe to take it as a takeaway. How it has helped us as an organization in terms of talent. We were talking about inducting talent, right? And I'm digressing a little bit, Deepak, but this is useful. So, year and a half or 2 years ago, we did our analysis saying, okay, as part of our DEI objective, we said that, okay, we'll get to 37% gender, parity in the organization, and we were at 30% back then. So in the last 2 years, we got to 37, which is great. I mean, it's still not good enough. We want to get to 50 or more. But what we realized is that, a lot of our women colleagues who were either, in the family way or for some or the other reason, they were dropping out of the workforce. And that was impacting our leader movement from a tier 2 to a tier 1 or tier 3 to a tier 2. And so we created a program which is called, Women in New Innings, Deepak. And so what we said is, so for all those people who are dropping out of workforce because of maternity reason, can we create a program where we help coach them over the next 6 to 12 months of maternity journey so they are not making these decisions ill-informed? Because when we interviewed them, they said, I don't know how I will work, will the firm be flexible, etc., etc. And about 150 odd women colleagues we coached, at the firm using senior leaders and people who have been in the maternity way earlier. When they got that support in 3, 6, and 9 months from others, I couldn't believe as a leader at the firm that we retained 85% of those women this year. And so that is worth exploring, in various organizations, I would say, because sometimes we start off thinking it will not happen, but the proof is in the pudding when you try something and see. So that's some of it on what we have done on equity, we call that WINGS program. But also Womentorship is another program that we have been running to say, how do you prepare women, to take on the next sort of roles in the firm too. And it doesn't have to be coming only from women. How do you involve men into this equation is equally important. Often otherwise it becomes like, whose problem is it? Right? So what we have done is we have created a people care council in the firm. And one question came from the back in the morning first session, whose responsibility is it to, maintain those KPIs and all? And we said, it is business and people and culture's responsibility to say, okay, we work hand in hand to make sure, everybody benefits from it. So now business is involved in it. So they are part of the People Care Council. And we have seen dramatic engagement and improvement in all of these. Now we can hold them accountable to say, okay, in your service line, the gender parity is lower as compared to the firm averages. What are you doing about it? Rather than asking HR to do, it's your problem, you figure it, take it up. It won't. I can keep talking about it, Deepak, but in the interest of time, I'll give it back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Satya. I think very clearly it demonstrates how Grant Thornton Bharat is preparing to almost enhance or go up from, let's say, around 7,000 employees to 14,000 to plus 20,000 plus in 3 years time frame. And that's this culture which has been created in the organization. You just saw Orca coming and nudging me saying that you have some time. But good point is I have been able to negotiate 2-3 minutes with him for any quick observations, questions from anybody over here. Yes, please. Can you pass on the mic over here? I can see that's Ajay, right?
This question is not for Dr. Palin because I've lived Shija for almost 4 years, being a part of that assessment team. Thank you, sir, for the invitation. This is for Satya, in fact, great insights about how you have actually developed the culture. In terms of remote part, where, I think Ashank in the morning mentioned that I really don't know who is sitting here, so who is in Ranchi. So while you encourage, working from home where the productivity is not impacted, there is something which is called teaming and culture, teaming and bonding or belongingness, which got a big hit during pandemic. So little insights about how you actually maintain this during this, or how are you maintaining now?
Sure, that's a great question because, working from anywhere doesn't mean that you will never come to office, right? That's the another fallacy. People assume that if somebody is working from wherever, they will never come to office. And I was just talking about, let's say, the Purple League, right? So we flew about 1,500 to 2,000 employees from all 15 different locations where they were working earlier. And we had that, bonding together on that, so basically we had regionals, then we had nationals, so all sorts of games. So people from every office visited together to have that time together and meet with each other. So that bonding happened. The other thing that we do is a lot of learning development happens in person, okay? So say, for example, every time somebody gets promoted at the firm, we have a program called Step Up, right? So somebody is stepping up to take the new role. And it is in-person, training over a couple days where everybody comes from different parts of the firm, in flesh and blood. They learn in those sessions and interact with people. They learn from others how they did their job when they were in those roles too. Okay, so that's that. So it's not a replacement of an in-person, but we have chosen carefully about what are the things that we want people to be in person for, versus just for the sake of reporting being in the office every day. Okay, so that's how we are trying to, I won't say compensate, but still compensate for the time they are not always in the office.
Thank you, Satya. And
you.
also, what I experienced was people can be anywhere, but the heart, the soul is with GTB. So that's what the connect lies. So thank you so much. Any last comment?
No, I think, we spoke about this, so I'll bring, 2 cents on that about how is it really helping? Because, it's all sometimes sounds like, okay, great talk, everybody comes on the podium, talks, and they leave. But how are you really benefiting? Because if there's no ROI in some of these activities, the purpose of business is also to be profitable, right? So while, we talked about work-life balance to say, oh, this work-life balance is bad for some versus others. So what are we doing about it? So when we started, we first fixed the work-life disbalance by talking to every individuals and understanding their reason and fixing that. Then we also realized it can't be just work-life balance. It means a lot of things for different people. So then we move towards what is called work-life optimization. You need to be productive. You need to be, generating revenues, but also you don't need to compensate it by, burning yourself on the other side. So that's how we have worked at it. And eventually, if you really ask me, our attrition rates were at probably 25 to 30%, in the years. And we have now come down to anywhere between 15 to 20%. That 10% reduction in attrition is huge, commercial benefit for the organization. So it's all, a mix of a lot of things, Deepak.
Great. Thank you. To summarize, I think deep passion, purpose, sense of adaptation, spirituality, the entire aspect of working close with your people, making people, being people-centric, and that's where probably not called HR and HR, but people and culture organization. So these are some of the key takeaways. So once again, thank you, Satya. Thank you, Dr. Palin, for your time. Really appreciate it. And thank you. Lots of insights and wisdom.
Thank you, Deepak.